Yeah, Andrew, I mean, there was recently a poll done by Gallup, right? They do some great polling out there, and they showed that the share of Americans, at least in their poll, that believe now in capitalism was down to 52%.
Wow.
Which was the lowest that they have on their record whenever they started keeping this. And so it's only half of Americans. And so what that's meaning is that they're more engaged with socialism. And now you have a lot of these politicians, whether it's AOC or Bernie Sanders or now Madami and others that are out there that are really trying to speak this idea that socialism is the best path forward. But I think when you look at this, you first see that capitalism is what's helped bring billions of people out of extreme poverty of less than $1 a day and so forth. I mean, even in places like China, after they had the 1978, when they started to open up again open up to the rest of the world, that's when you started to see the poverty drop substantially in China, as they had a little bit glimpse of capitalism. But now it's been heading in the other direction with President Xi there over the last decade plus, unfortunately. And so what I think what we need is to be able to highlight, and what I would do with college students and still do today, is where do we find socialism in the world, at least as close as it can be, is Venezuela, for example. Venezuela is running hyperinflation. They have food rationing of how much food you can get on which certain days. These are not what we expect in America. So it sounds good, like, okay, the government can come in and solve these problems. But again, it goes back to trade-offs. Where do they get that money? Who decides what's going to do? In the marketplace, human action is purposeful, meaning that we like to voluntarily transact in order to get whatever it is that we want at a specific price, and we can negotiate that price. Well, in socialism, it's a top-down approach because the government's going to tell you what that price is, and you have no other choices about it. So it's not voluntary, and it continues to have more control by government versus control, but I would believe is the individual. And so I think by explaining it in more clear terms, because I think it's kind of this, it's just something that people can't really even, understand of what the economic system is. And no one person can. And that's the point, is that you want millions of people in the marketplace to decide this. Going back to Hayek's The Knowledge Problem, I think there's so much into that really we do not have the knowledge of what everyone else should do, whether it's in healthcare. You and I, we know a lot about the policy, but we don't know the individual exchanges between the doctor and the patient of what those cares are going to be. That should be up to them. And the more that we can get into people having more power and control over their life and less from government, the better off we're going to be, I really think, in any market that you look at.